All right. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
This is the Dr. Simon's Metabolics and Weight Loss. Ask Me Anything. Facebook Live. I'm Dr. Victor Simons. This is Michelle Kennedy. We're open today, as we always are, and we're answering your weight loss questions.
Yes.
We got some good ones today.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all sending those in. And if you're live, you can send them in live, and we're giving away a $25 Target gift card like we normally do.
As usual.
And they got to do two things, Michelle, to be able to win the gift card. And it's pretty, and you got a good chance of winning.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like we don't have 10,000 people watching this live.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, most people watch it recorded. So if you are watching
right.
this live right now, please do two things to enter the gift card. It's to like this video and comment #SimonsAMA in the comments section. And like Doc said, we could take any kind of questions or comments live as well. We'll address them, but we got some really good ones sent in that you probably saw in the email. So we can jump right in.
That's right. Okay.
Cynthia from Cary. First question. What's one of the most common misunderstandings that people have about keto or the ketogenic diet? That's a really good question. I think there are a lot of misunderstandings about a ketogenic diet. Yeah. So probably one of the most common misunderstandings, I don't know, maybe that it has to be one specific thing. Like it has to be Atkins and you have to eat certain bars or eat candies or for me, I think a lot of people try to fit themselves into the keto box, and there's not really a keto box. There's not one way to do a ketogenic diet. Ketogenic diet is simply eating few enough carbohydrates so that your body burns fat in the form of ketones instead of burns glucose. It's fairly simple.
Bring the hammer down. That is awesome.
It's fairly simple, and yet it gets very convoluted, complicated, complex. It doesn't need to. It's eating fewer carbohydrates. That doesn't mean you have to eat tons and tons and tons of saturated fat, or that you have to be a carnivorous person. You could do a vegan keto, you could do vegetarian keto, you could do Mediterranean keto, you could do a paleo keto, right? It's just the ketogenic umbrella is very low carbohydrate to burn fat.
That's it. You'll see all sorts of things that say, well, you got to eat this amount of fat, this amount of protein.
Right.
To me, that's kind of like binding people up, getting them just in this tiny little thing where they can't look left or right. You know, the issue is the carbohydrate restriction.
Absolutely.
And that's what generates the ketones, hence the word keto. And anyway, there's a lot of financial interest in selling various things under this is the way you do it, right?
You need to take exogenous ketones.
That's right.
Because you can buy those. You need to take this supplement because you can make money off of those as a business. But you don't need any of that stuff.
That's right.
You really don't.
That's exactly right. So the core issue, and particularly for most Americans, is that we need to be eating less carbohydrates.
Yes. Particularly processed and ultra processed carbohydrate. In a ketogenic diet's case.
Yeah, we don't typically get mad at you if you're eating 3 buckets of lettuce a day.
Right.
It's really, although
vegetables
that's carbohydrate.
Are carbohydrates, berries are carbohydrates.
Yeah, that kind of stuff really isn't what's making people gain weight and making them unhealthy. It's the processed carbohydrates.
Absolutely, yeah. And keep in mind, we do teach ketogenic diets here at Dr. Simon's Metabolics and Weight Loss, and many of our patients do choose to do it. It is not a requirement to be a patient in our practice.
We'll work with you doing any kind of diet.
Yeah, for anyone. Yeah, we will work with you, meet you where you are. It has to be individualized. We do have patients that come and say, I tried it. I don't know if I did it right. I'd like to try it again. Other people say, I don't really want to do it. My family life, my social life just would make it hard in a way that I don't want to. And we will absolutely still be there to help and guide you and try different things.
Yes, we have a question.
Holly
wants to know our thoughts on the carnivore diet. Yes. Yes, it's very good.
It has its place for sure. So a carnivore diet is essentially where you eat only and exclusively animal products. Now, again, there are some variations of a carnivore diet where some individuals may include small amounts of plant foods or fibers, but for the most part, the umbrella of a carnivore diet is you eat animals and products that come from animals, period. So if you have, a bunch of eggs in the morning, you're not putting in a bunch of spinach and tomato. You're just eating eggs cooked in butter, and then you have meat basically for lunch and meat for dinner. Organ meats are often included in a well-formulated carnivore diet because that's where you get a lot of nutrients. A lot of people think, oh, won't you be malnourished if you don't eat vegetables? Actually, animals that we eat, like cattle and pig and chicken, have nutrients in every organ of their body. And if we ate all of them, we would really not be devoid of a single nutrient.
That's right. Yes. This makes a good point and ties into a question that we have from Morgan. I can get passionate and angry sometimes about things. And one of the things that really drives me bananas are people who are seemingly qualified. Okay, they go to nice universities, they do all this stuff, and they will appear on documentaries and stuff and bastardize their scientific background. Okay, they get bought off by various interests. They have religious beliefs of some kind, of zealotry, if you will, not necessarily grounded in spiritual things. They religiously believe some concept. Okay, and so it really doesn't. They don't have to do with spiritual things. I say religious; it's like a religious fervor, and they let that cloud their judgment. And I saw some of this again over the weekend on a Netflix documentary. Okay, and they package it up real nice, and they. And if you were to watch that, it's straight out deceit and lies. And I could pick it apart in a second. They never bring on the other side. And this, you have to be very careful about this because this stuff is out there. And the general idea is that eating meat is bad. It's a polar opposite of what you said, that no human beings ever need this stuff. And they never bring on the experts from the other side. And they ignore great swaths of scientific information that are there. And they ignore the clinical experience of persons like Michelle and I, who get rid of people's diabetes, who get rid of people's high blood pressure, who get rid of their lipid problems by having them go on diets like this. Okay. And the stuff they're suggesting would actually worsen those conditions. And they sit right there and misrepresent it over and over again and use emotional pleas to the public. And they're I tell you, when we get to Morgan's questions, I'll comment some more. The way they package the stuff, they package it so that you have to accept it or you're a bad person.
Right.
And
it's a morality thing.
Yes, that's right. So look, there are ways to ethically raise and process animals, and it's done, right? And so when we treat a disease called obesity, and it is an inflammatory a systemic inflammatory problem, and these sorts of diets will fix that disease. And that's our experience. And so if you decide for reasons like, hey, I don't want to eat animals because I don't believe in killing animals and stuff like that, I understand that. And I'll never say anything ugly about that to you. There are ways, as Michelle pointed out, that you can actually, eat unprocessed things that are natural, and you will experience these same sort of benefits, right?
Absolutely.
So if you really ate what comes from the garden and it was unprocessed, guess what? You're going to get healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't have to be a ketogenic diet. It doesn't have to be a vegan diet. And I think if we could focus more on what we agree about in these different communities versus what separates us, we'd all want people to eat unprocessed, whole, natural foods and less of processed junk, whether it is all animals, all plants, or some combination of the two.
That is exactly right. That is exactly right. And that's the common middle ground I think we can all reach and keep everybody happy.
Absolutely.
So welcome again to the Dr. Simon's Metabolics and Weight Loss Ask Me Anything Facebook Live, August the 8th of 2022. We're open and answering your weight loss questions, and we're on to Colleen from Durham, who's asking about calories. So wait a minute. We're giving away
we have a couple entries.
Card.
I think I saw Holly. I saw Ethel, Susie. Thank you so much, guys. We appreciate it. If you just joined or you haven't done it yet, we want you to like this video and comment #SimonsAMA, and that's how you will be eligible at the end of this show to win a $25 Target gift card. Also, if you have a question, let us know in comments. Okay, we really appreciate Holly you asking. That's what you're here for, right? To get your questions answered. We are here to do our best to help you understand what you're looking for. So, Colleen from Durham is asking, are all calories the same, whether from whole foods or processed ones? Kind of ties right into what we were talking about.
That's right.
We grew up with a calories calorie, right? That whole age of agriculture and the big companies that are making lots of money on processed food have actually advertised directly to us to say a calorie is a calorie. It doesn't matter if it comes from this small can of bubbly high fructose corn syrup crap or from a cucumber. But guess what? They're wrong. It matters. It matters. Yeah, calorie is not just a calorie. Calories do matter. However, where the calorie is coming from matters more.
That's right. That's correct. The term calorie is a physics term.
Mhm.
And the way it's determined is there is a device called a bomb calorimeter, and you put the type of food in there and you blow it up and you measure the heat that comes off. That's the stored energy in the food. Okay? Your body is not a bomb calorimeter or a physics lab.
Never will be.
Okay? It's way more complex than that. That is an oversimplification of how your body reacts to food.
Yes.
Right? So, look, you can, here's an analogy.
Mhm.
You have a car, correct? And you put gasoline, at least for now, in the car.
Mhm.
Okay. And imagine you went to the gas station and you said, well, I need to put 10 pounds of gas in there. Okay. We do it in gallons, but let's say it weighed 10 pounds.
Mhm.
And I came along and said, it doesn't matter. Here, we'll put 10 pounds of dirt in there. It's cheaper, right? It's 10 pounds, it's 10 pounds, right?
Right. Not the same.
Not the same.
Not the same.
Not
Yep.
the same.
The car's not going to operate optimally if you dump anything but
That's right.
good gasoline.
Exactly.
Just
Try
like
pressing on
human
your
beings.
accelerator when the dirt's in the tank. You'll find out it
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Yeah, our
Okay.
bodies operate optimally when we consume nutrient-dense foods, not nutrient-devoid, but calorie-dense foods.
That's right.
And that's what the standard American diet is.
Yep.
It is a very nutrient-depleted, ultra-processed, tasty, food-like substances. I don't even think we can call it food, quite frankly, but a lot of it is called food, and we get duped. So, Colleen, it's a great question, and it's a pretty straightforward answer. You cannot just focus on the calorie. You have to see what the calorie is coming from, and if there's any nutrition involved in it.
Yeah, that's right.
Ideally, it definitely will be a nutrient-dense source that you're getting your calories from. Michael, thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael.
We
for
appreciate
your nice
you,
comment.
all of our patients that trust us to help them on their journey. That's what we're here for. We're here to help. So if you haven't been in for a while and you're watching this or watching it recorded, give us a call. Okay? I think a lot of people share Michael's appreciation of how this is a judgment-free, very caring zone to get help. Ethel's asking, are carrots something I want to eat regularly? I hear yes and no. That's definitely one that gets confused, I think, because, again, on a ketogenic diet is considered a starchy vegetable. So a lot of people hear, well, carrots are bad. It's not a morality thing. Carrots do have a little bit more carbohydrate, though, than, say, a cucumber or lettuce or spinach. So carrots are not unhealthy, but Ethel, if you're following a very low carbohydrate ketogenic style diet, you are going to have to be careful not to consume too many starchy vegetables like carrots, because despite having a lot of nutrition, they also have a lot of carbohydrate.
Yeah, that's right. So I feel like that if you eat them and you lose weight, yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I agree.
They are nutrient dense, and but if you are having a problem losing weight, your diet seems to be in order. There's stuff like that I say cut down on.
Exactly, and carrots is a good example of. I know a lot of folks when they're starting the ketogenic diet or they're learning on the internet about a ketogenic diet, they get worried about things like if they go out and they order a salad and there's a little bit of shredded carrot on the salad, that it's gonna just like blow them out of the water and that you won't be in keto. These are not the battles we want to spend our energy fighting when we are trying to lose weight. So
and Michelle and I are just glad you didn't go and get the chicken pot pie.
Exactly. We have to celebrate the wins. So
I
don't feel like you need to. Unless you're an individual that you know metabolically, you have to avoid all carrots. In that case, that's okay. I'm not saying that like no one should worry about it, but the average person, it's those little details. If you must do this and you can't do this, we have to be very, very careful with those absolute terms, and shredded carrots in a salad is not something I'm typically worried about for anyone.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you, Sharon and Michael, for entering.
Yeah, that's right.
Everyone's on it today. I love it.
Good stuff.
Yeah, and that as well.
So Ellen from Raleigh, she wants to know how I can ensure my weight loss is fat loss and I don't lose muscle mass along the way.
Is it really good?
Yeah. Insulin is your fat storage hormone. If you have a high insulin level, you're going to store fat and hold on to fat. So
a lot here too.
That's right.
So
you eat things that raise your blood sugar, make a lot of insulin, you're going to stay in that fat storage mode. When you come out of the fat storage mode, you want to burn fat, and that means you got to get that insulin level down.
Yes.
Okay, so we're like, okay, don't eat all those carbohydrates. Remember the doughboy, flour and sugar raises the insulin, you become the doughboy, right? Won't say the company name. think y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay. They're not lying about it. Okay. So the way you hold on to muscle mass is you want to burn up the dough.
Yep.
That means get your carbohydrate count down. The insulin level will come down. You'll be in fat burning mode. This causes the ketones. And we know now from multiple studies, scientific evidence that you do not go savage your lean mass.
Yes, it protects your muscle and your lean body
That's
mass.
correct. That is right.
Yes.
So I think that carbohydrate restriction, making sure the carbohydrates you get are from things like vegetables, animals, what comes from animals, what you grow in gardens, there's your simple recipe. If you can get some exercise in addition to that, it's very helpful.
Yeah, there is some evidence that, exercise during weight loss may not accelerate your weight loss, but it can help protect your lean body mass and make sure the preferential energy that's being burned as you're losing weight is fat mass. And we talked a little bit of that 2 weeks ago about walking being one of the best things to help really burn fat mass.
Yes.
Without putting a whole lot of burden onto muscles. You don't have to be going to any crazy CrossFit stuff in order to get really great movement in. And walking is great. I also want to touch on the importance of protein. And if you have ever been a patient in our practice, you have heard us talk about this 30 grams of protein per meal being extraordinarily important. And that 30 grams of protein, it looks like 4 ounces of chicken or 3 eggs with a little cheese and a little bit of meat in the side, or some Greek yogurt or cottage cheese. So it's not a ton of food, but 30 grams of protein, when you eat it in a sitting, your metabolic rate goes up 30 to 40% because a certain process gets activated from all those amino acids in the protein called muscle protein synthesis.
Yes.
And this is a really metabolically active process that you want to be engaging in each time you have a meal because it burns energy, it rebuilds and repairs muscle, and it can help with muscle growth. So if you're working out, there's a reason why bodybuilders and people going to gyms are doing protein shakes and eating a bunch of chicken because that protein makes a huge difference for not just keeping the muscle, but repairing it, protecting it, and growing it. So 30 grams of protein per meal is also something you want to be doing, Ellen, to ensure that you're keeping and protecting your muscle mass, losing just fat mass. Ethel is asking a question, drinking water, is it a good idea to add flavoring? If it's no calorie for flavor, that's fine if it helps you drink water.
That's right. Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. Pay attention. If it makes you feel hungry, then drink water.
Exactly.
And if putting the flavor in there causes your brain to say, hey, I want more food things, then don't do it.
Yeah. Okay,
you just have to know that. You can pay attention to it. If you drink the stuff and a half hour later you're hungry, that's telling you something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of tier like water. Plain water is probably at the top, or some kind of unsweetened. Right now it's huge with the bubbly and the LaCroix, these sparkling, flavored yet unsweetened beverages that are water. Those are great. Things like black tea and black coffee, and then we get into those artificially sweetened things like the Gatorade Zero and the Crystal Light, and you can add the little powders and stuff. And again, like Doc said, if you can tolerate it, it doesn't stall your weight loss, it doesn't make you crave more, it doesn't make you more hungry, and it helps you hydrate better. Do it. Not worth the battle if you don't really like the plain water. But the things we always want to avoid, no matter what, are these sugar sweetened beverages.
Yes, right.
Yeah, so stay away from the things like regular soda, sweet tea, lemonade, sports drinks with sugar, right? Added sugar in coffee and tea, things of that nature.
Okay. We're on to Morgan from Raleigh.
Been waiting for this.
Yeah, that's right. Does the keto diet cause heart disease, high triglycerides, or high cholesterol due to eating saturated fats? Okay. I'm going to help you out here. Naturally occurring saturated fats are not bad. And what history is going to judge this very harshly. One of the great hoaxes ever perpetrated upon the minds of individuals in modern society is that eating saturated fat is bad. The historical record bears no evidence from the medical community until very recent times when people became conflicted by big money. There's no evidence that anyone thought this was ever a problem, eating butter or things, the fat that comes on animals, right? So Michelle and I, this topic is much deeper than we could answer in 5 minutes. Okay. But the truth of the matter is when you go back to the origins of that, it is a study in crony capitalism, I always say, the kind that's influenced by money, big money, right? And it's kind of really like the kind of thing that you're just like, I can't believe stuff like that happened. But, unholy alliances between companies and government officials and stuff perpetrated this idea and sticks in the minds of the American people and in the scientific community. I hate to say it, but people in our line of work, if there's an organization, okay, and the professional organizations have to exist. And so they take corporate money then to keep their organizations going. I've served on these boards. I know how it works. And if the corporate entity says, don't tell people this, you're not allowed to tell people that because they're paying you. Okay, that's the way that gig works. So Michelle and I aren't on anyone, we're not getting paid by any corporate entities. Okay, we're non-conflicted here. We're just telling you, look, if all the evidence said eat nothing but celery, we'd be telling y'all eat nothing but celery, right? But that's not what it says, is it? Right. So we're just kind of going with what the truth appears to be and just calling it like it is. And so when we treat people, Michelle, with this kind of diet, do their triglycerides go up or down?
Down.
They go markedly down.
They can plummet.
Right. Now, the total cholesterol, I like telling patients this. There is no relationship between total cholesterol and your risk for heart disease. If your total cholesterol is 1,000 or if it's 100, you have the exact same risk of having a cardiac event. It's not any different. So that question's out. It doesn't even matter whether the keto diet raises or lowers your total cholesterol, okay? The triglyceride, in my opinion, bears a lot more evidence, and it goes markedly down, and your HDL, the good kind of cholesterol, will markedly rise. And there's no other therapeutic tool anywhere on this planet that can produce that kind of result. No medicine, no exercise, no anything, right? And that's what the evidence says. So in addition, you will lose weight, right? Now, the issue of heart disease is kind of a complex thing. And to narrow it all down to just someone's diet, what about smoking? What about other things, stress, all these other sort of things that play a factor? So that you're never going to get a study where, imagine that. Hey, you're born, we're enrolling you in the study.
Yeah.
You're going to eat a keto diet until you're 100, and we're going to find out whether you had a heart attack. We're going to enroll Michelle here in the vegan diet, and we're going to check her. Yeah, how would that work? This study can't be done, right? So in fairness, I would say that anyone who claims their diet keeps the heart disease from happening, I don't know how we can ever evaluate that evidence. All I can just say is the normal markers that we use that are associated with cardiac disease all get better when we feed them this diet, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's all. That's the truth, and there it is. Yeah.
Ethel's asking, when eating protein, I eat a lot of boiled eggs, just concerned with the cholesterol. What should we consider moderate? So on the same vein, the cholesterol that we consume in things like egg yolks and things like shrimp does not increase our blood levels of cholesterol.
That's correct. Eating cholesterol does not raise cholesterol.
That has been a myth that really needs to continue to get busted. The cholesterol that we eat is not what raises our cholesterol. Our liver actually manufactures cholesterol. And
you need it for certain physiologic functions.
Yes. Our goal should never be to get cholesterol 0 or even too low. Our sex hormones are made of cholesterol, right? Our vitamin D is manufactured in our skin thanks to cholesterol. Our brain needs cholesterol to function and stay protected with all those neuronal connections. We would die without appropriate levels of cholesterol. Cholesterol is not the enemy. It's the inflammation that happens, and we see it in other markers like blood sugar, like the triglyceride level being high or the HDL level being low. So there's a lot of things we need to look at. We cannot boil it down to eggs are good or bad, or total cholesterol is good or bad if it's this number or that number. We have to zoom out. We have to look at the whole picture. And the picture with eggs is we have been eating eggs as a species for many years. And the nutrient density in an egg with the yolk is almost unparalleled in other animal products.
Yeah.
So we really do not tell people ever to restrict their egg consumption. In fact, there is a plateau breaking strategy that we will sometimes recommend to people who are open to it and who like eggs, called the egg fast, where you eat nothing but eggs, fat, and cheese for 3 to 5 days. It is not a long-term strategy, but eggs are so good at signaling the body to burn fat and stay in this ketone burning, like low blood sugar state. And if you only eat them for a few days, your blood sugar drops, your weight drops, everything gets better. Everything gets better.
We're running out of time, but I'm going to come back to that point because I said I was going to do it here. Okay, so what happens is, what Michelle's saying is right. Okay, so those who disagree with us have different reasons for doing so that are unscientific, in my opinion, but they'll present it as science, and they use two things. They'll say, they'll downright lie and just say that what we just said is not true. Now, they're conflicted. These people are conflicted by big money. And so because they can't get away with that they can fool you for a while with that. So you'll see their documentaries saying this stuff, right? And they'll make it real emotional. The second trick, I've been warning people about, I first warned John Westman about this. Eric Westman's brother, John Westman, 7 years ago, I remember he looked at me in shock, and it's turning out to be everything I've said is exactly right. I've seen this firsthand in multiple meetings, policy type stuff. I understand how this stuff works, okay? When you can't intellectually defend your position, okay, and force people to all eat plants, okay, then what the next move, and this is what I want to be on record. I want every one of you to know about this, okay, that I said this and that you should watch for it. They say, look, this will destroy the climate. Eating animals destroys the climate, and it will tell you it's bad for you. And you're a bad person because it destroys the climate. And they have some very convoluted reasoning here, okay? I want to tell you something. Republicans, Democrats, independents, people of all swaths, no one wants dirty air, dirty water, or any of that stuff. So just get over all that. We don't buy into that argument, okay? The idea that eating animals is destroying this planet is a farce. And they use that as a pretext to form policy which will force you out of eating animals and make it impossible for us to do it. Okay, that's where this whole thing is going. That's exactly where it's going. And you as a citizen need to be informed and lay aside these party affiliations and any of that sort of stuff and say no. Okay, my health is at stake and I will be an informed consumer, and you don't get to do that. Okay, that's the point. So Brooke from Durham, I've got an injury that's keeping me from physical exercise. Is there any way to continue keeping the weight off? Yes. Okay, diet is what keeps your weight off in most cases. And if you'll be adherent to a diet, in our case, we would encourage you to do a low carb diet. Well, that'll do it. Okay, so you don't have to necessarily, and by the way, it's a good time to come see us. We can give you medicine that's going to help you. Okay, really adhere to that diet so you don't have to gain the weight. Okay, that's a great question. Macy from Raleigh. Taking gluconamine, is it safe and effective for weight loss, and would you recommend it? Gluconamine is a prebiotic fiber. It means it's a type of fiber that's digested by the bacteria in your gut, and as the theory goes, the bacteria then secrete chemicals that signal your body to lose weight. I don't know if that's true or not. It's very hard to prove in a study. Okay, so I don't know the answer to that, although I don't think I can think of anything bad they could have, except maybe like some diarrhea if you took too much.
As long as you can tolerate it digestively. Again, I don't know that we have a huge amount of evidence, Macy, to say that gluconamine is a weight loss tool. It may eventually come out, but I think it's fine to include as long as you feel okay with it. And that goes for any kind of fiber. I know some individuals are told that they should be doing Metamucil every day to help them feel full so they don't eat as much food. Is there a lot of evidence for that? I don't believe so. But if it works for you and it's a sugar-free version of it, it's fine. That's totally fine.
Right.
There's no issues whatsoever.
We're okay with that. All right. Well, thanks for watching the Ask Me Anything Facebook Live event for Dr. Simon's Metabolic and Weight Loss. Today, the winner of the $25 gift card is Holly.
Yay, Holly. Thank you so much to everyone who entered. Holly, we will be in touch with you to get your $25 Target gift card. We are open in both offices. Please give us a call. We will help you with your weight loss goals and your health goals. Make sure to check our emails out. Tomorrow is Tasty Keto Tuesday. Check our website out as well. And Instagram.
Yeah, that's right.
Casual Keto Doctor.
All right. Take care, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks.